Welcome, everyone, to our show, the Mother Tree Network, where spirituality and earth wisdom meet racial justice and women's leadership. Our special guest today is Barb Horne. Barb is an amazing woman. She has lived many lifetimes, which we'll probably get into later. But in this one, I know her as a certified racial justice from the heart facilitator, as a river protector, as the co-producer creator of Cosmic Cats and Destiny Dogs. I think those are the names of her Oracle decks. And there's so much more. So, but we'll get into that. So to start us off, Barb, tell us what's good. What is good for you today?
Well, thanks, Dr. Amanda. It's so nice to be here with everybody on this amazing planet in these amazing times. And what's good for me today is connecting with my flossom self and the flossom world we live in. Let me explain the flossom. It's not a term I came up with, but I got it from Robert Ohata, who's one of my mentors. And it's as we approach the equinox, where there's a balance of dark and light in the world, both are valuable, this dark and this light. And so it's like on my perpetual quest to love myself, what's good and what I love about falling in love with myself is really looking at my shadow and what is imperfect about me and really allowing that to be at the table. So my flaws, right? But yet I'm this awesome person. I'm here. I touch people. I don't even know how I touch people. I touch myself, so I'm awesome. So I really like combining the terms flossom, what's good today is my flossom self. And I can say that about the world out there too, is that it's easy to look at what's dissolving and going away and disillusioning because it doesn't serve us anymore. But as we speak, there are new species coming on the planet. There are flowers blossoming. There is beauty all around us and joy. And we don't always connect to that or know that. We have to trust that this great evolutionary path is on its way. And so it's blossom out there, blossom in here. And that's what's good today. I want people to embrace their flossomness.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Because when you first said the word flossom, I thought it was like that other word, flotsam, flotsam, like the things floating along on the river, like like the stuff in the soup, that floats to the top. So then I realized, oh, flaw, like awesome and flawed.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. Yes. Flossom over here, flossom over there. Okay, got it. Okay. So,
but even that's great. Even that's great, Dr. A, because what's coming up to the surface is ready to be dealt with. So there you go.
Yes. So I guess I want to talk about this thing about where we are because you often talk about it as evolutionary. I've heard you say a few times now about things are breaking down, and that's a good thing. So let's talk about this moment that we're in. When you say things are breaking down, Barb, what are you referring to?
Great question. So first and foremost, you, everyone on this call is right where we're supposed to be. And I believe we actually chose to be here. The Mayans, some of you might remember around the 1999 and 2000 when we were going through the change of the decades there and the world was going to end and all of that propaganda. The Mayans stopped keeping time in their tablets because they prophesized, talk about visionary, that at some point in the evolution of human beings and the planet and the cosmos, we would change the way we keep time. Time is a construct of humans. We made it up to make organization out of our life. Out there in the cosmos, time is a very different thing. Deep down in our subconscious mind, time has a different organization, if you will. So the Mayans called us the in-between people because we are literally living in between two changes in ages. We are leaving the age of Pisces and we have now just beginning to enter the age of Aquarius, and all that's woo-woo. So let me just tell you what that means for you. It takes the Earth a wobbly 2,000 years to go through all 12 zodiac signs. And while it's doing that, it's in one primary sign. And you can think of the planets as, well, so the planets like Pluto and Jupiter and Saturn are often the actors in the sky. So think of theater here. I know you like theater. So they're the actors, and the zodiac sign is the play. It's the acting that they're doing. So when Pluto is in Capricorn, it's going to do Capricorn-esque things versus Libra things.
This is so cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so you mean like a play, like you could be in The Color Purple, the musical, or you could be in The Wiz, or you could be in Julius Caesar. But you're Pluto in those different plays.
Right.
Okay.
And the different plays would be the different zodiac signs.
Right. I got it. I love that.
Yeah. And then the stage that plays out on in our lives is your own birth chart. You have 12 houses that represent your personality, your communication, your career, your family, things like that. And so that's the stage. Every single one of us has all 12 zodiac signs in us, working us. So Pluto, the age of Pisces was about developing the evolution of the human soul, helping humans connect to their soul. And if you think about it, from the beginning, 2,000 years ago, I don't want to, where we gave up our spirituality to the Greek gods and to something out there compared to where we are now. Like, think about it. In the 50s, nobody, my parents, your grandparents, nobody said, get out of my space. You're in my energy. I need my energy is off today. People didn't use that language. I mean, if you think about it, they didn't use that language in the 20s and the 30s. And humans discover planets that have these energies that do work us. They don't do things to us. They're there working with us, like gravity. Whether we like it, understand it, know it or not, they're electricity kind of working with us. I lost my train of thought there. Did you hear that train go through?
So you were saying
we discover planets.
Pisces. We're moving from the age of Pisces.
We
to
discover
Aquarius.
planets when in the age of Pisces, when we're learning about our soul, like we discovered the planet Pluto in the 70s, and that's when psychology and psychiatry was birthed in this country. The career, the profession, it blew up in the 70s when we discovered Pluto. Well, what is Pluto? Pluto is the planet of transformation.
Right.
So the whole age of, I'll get right back to it, but the age of Pisces was really about developing this connection to our soul. And the pendulum kind of swung, there's a shadow and a light to that. Mm-hmm. We got more spiritual because Pisces is ruled by the planet Neptune, and that's spirituality. It's dreaming, it's possibilities. And through our dreaming and our imagination, we also advanced a lot of technology, a lot of things in medicine. We learned a lot about the body. And the shadow side of that, it swung really far to being all about individualism, the tribe or the individual. All of this can relate back to our racial justice work, which is about I, and dominance. That's the sort of shadow side. So as we cross over, so Pluto is this planet acting transformation. When Pluto walks into the room, whether it's in your personal life, the last time Pluto is where in all the sky is where it was is in 1777 and 1797, which was the birth of the United States. We are having the United States is going through a identity crisis. It's having a rebirth, literally, driven in part by the cosmos. That's this big evolutionary thing that's happening, whether it's not personal. It's good would be happening whether I was on the planet or not, whether you were on the planet or not, or whether my dog was here or not, right? So Pluto's transformative. And as we move into the age of Aquarius, Aquarian is about possibilities. It's about unity and community. It's about acknowledging and living as if we're all connected. and that we all do matter. It's about both the tribe and the individual. So we are the in-between people of the old ways and everything about it dissolving. So all the systems, health system, economic systems, education systems, social systems that were built under this paradigm of I, the the Pisces kind of energy is dissolving. It's disintegrating because it no longer serves us. And then we're birthing, at the same time, we're birthing a new belief system, a new way of being, where we're honoring how we're all connected through the energies of the age Aquarius. And it's messy, and it takes a really long time to do that. So when Pluto comes into the room, Pluto says, what'd y'all do since the last time I was here? I was here a little while ago. Remember, like in the 1700s? Y'all, what have you been doing? Oh, I see you got that evolved, but that needs a little bit of work. So Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. So Pluto's transformative. Think caterpillar to the butterfly. That's transformation. So if you're focusing, on the caterpillar dying, you're going to have a lot of fear and anxiety, versus you don't know that you have these imaginal cells inside your body to become this butterfly. So Capricorn is so Capricorn's the play, right? Capricorn says the play we're going to play today it's all about government and rules and authority and construction, basically. Structure, right? And Aquarius is over here going, no way, man, I want freedom. I want liberty. It's this tension between top down, bottom up, between structure and order and social order and freedom and independence. So Capricorn, Pluto moved into Capricorn. So the play, what happened in 2008? The financial crisis. Recession, right? So it's Pluto's saying, I'm back here now, and we're going to take apart this economy because the way you guys do money and stuff, it's not working. We're going to take apart police structures. We're going to take apart schools. So what happens is all of this ugly stuff comes up, like jetsam, flotsam and jetsam, because it's ready. It's ready to be transformed into something different. So as the in-between people, we're in the messiness of the old dying systems, beliefs, and the new being birthed. And we need people. We need people like in this group, powerful women, to be focused on what's possible. Part of the breaking down, Dr. A, is getting us comfortable with being uncomfortable, with the unknown, because Pisces was the age of certainty. I know. And the thing about getting comfortable with uncertainty and the unknown is that the range of possibilities is huge.
Yeah.
And
I want to go back.
We need a range of possibilities.
Yes. Okay. I just want to go back just to make sure everybody's clear about a couple of things. So Pluto was discovered in 1930. So that's important. I just want to correct that so people know. So I think the point you're making is completely legit. I just want to know. I know that people will say, wait a minute, 1970. Well, so it was 1930.
Yeah. But if you'll remember, it went back and forth. Is it a star? Is it a planet? What does it mean? That's a really good point, in that, yes, as astronomers discovered it, it was in the 30s, but as astrology, which is a little different, energetically adopted it, it didn't get into our psyche, into our culture, into our DNA until the 70s.
Okay. And that's great.
Really important to distinguish, because the outer planets, so you go Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, they're called transformative planets. They're impersonal, and they are here doing this collective universal work. Whereas the personal planets like Mercury, and you're all familiar with the Mercury retrograde, they're personal planets. There is a Kuiper belt out there around Pluto. It's called the Kuiper belt. So it's this band of cosmos out there where there are already half a dozen to 24, now we call them asteroids or blobs that have energy. They're forming this, they've always been there, Dr. A. We are just now understanding them intellectually, right? But energetically, they're entering our light grids and our field and our energy. Planets that help rebirth and regeneration of plants and food. Planets that help us connect, like manifest much quicker. So in entering the age of Aquarius, it's an air. So we were in 2,000 years of Earth. The age of Pisces, I know Pisces is a water sign, but we were in Earth energy, and everything happens really slow on the Earth. Think about your garden, where you have to plant, you have to till, you have to weed, and you do that in the spring, and by the fall you harvest. Very slow, but very rich. We are now in energy. Aquarius is the age of energy, electricity, air, light grids, knowledge, technology. It's the era of energy, is relationships, emotions. We're allowed now to have emotions. We're connecting our head and our heart now. It's not just our head. It's not just our heart. We're integrating the masculine and the feminine. All of these energies are supporting us. And in the age of energy, we can now start to actually absorb these new planetary energies that are out there and have been working for us all along.
That's one of the things I've been thinking about, like, a lot in the last couple of years, is our perception and how we think we're telling the truth, or we're stating a fact, but it's only based on what we can currently see. So if you walk into a room and you're like, there's nobody else in this room, but then all of a sudden, like, my son poked his head up above the couch, and I was like, oh, there were two of us here. But I didn't know that. So I was speaking truthfully to me when I said there's no one in the room. But it was just a limitation of my perception. And so what I hear you saying, is that we're like, we're going in for a whole another level or dimension of perception. We're able to
absolutely
a whole nother dimension. And
so go
ahead.
No, you go ahead. I want you to finish your question.
Well, so I was wondering, like, so what does that mean practically? So when I walk around knowing that, I'm walking on like, before I used to think I'm walking on the ground and there's dirt.
Yeah.
Now I think I'm walking on soil and there's mycelium under here. You see, so I'm still walking on the ground, but now I'm understanding things differently. And I wonder what the difference in perception makes possible on a big level, but really also on a personal level, on a day-to-day level. Like, maybe you could tell us about you, Barb, like how what is this expanded level of perception made possible for you in the last few years in your life, as you've kind of gotten more and more, as you've perceived more and more on more and more levels?
Great. Love to tell you. So what we're experiencing is moving from a 5-sensory world, so our 5 senses, to multi-sensory. Mm-hmm. And sometimes one of the best ways to help people relate to that is think of Avatar, where we can communicate like that. And we already can communicate like that. We just don't believe it's true, but we've created all this technology out there, like the internet, instant messaging, and all of that, to reflect what we could really do ourselves. So we're expanding to multi-sensory experiences and light grids. So that's going to be different for everybody. And as people have been experiencing that, it might affect them physically. They might have headaches for a while. It can be very disorienting and confusing as these sort of, like, your body upgrades to be able to be these multi-sensory. I think for me personally, I went on a journey when I was like in my 40s. This is a generically kind of true. You go through these phases in your life, and around your 40s and your 50s, before your second Saturn return. So you have your first Saturn return when you're about 28, and then it takes Saturn 28 years to go around all those cusps. You have another one when you're about 58, 59, 60. I'm about to have I've just finished my second Saturn return. Perhaps it's again a phase. So in my 40s, I decided that I was going to conquer, if you will, like I was going to face this life theme I had of being not enough, having a low self-esteem, And I had this amazing life. I mean, I had a husband, I had a wonderful career. It was all these external things you wouldn't know inside. And the way I portrayed myself was very confident. I could be a leader, I could do many things, but inside, I was still suffering significantly from just not feeling like enough. In fact, I had part of my external success was this having to show myself, prove myself, if you will, in our perfectionism world. And I just was done with that. I was also very masculine. I wanted to be a boy up until I was 6 or 7 years old. I used to ask for that for my birthday. And I wanted to connect with my feminine side. And it manifested in my body. You know, I ended up having a knee replacement on my right knee, which for me, I'm right-handed, is my masculine side. And that helped introduce me to my feminine side. I did sacred loving work with like other tantra, like other I just dove in. I started learning art therapy. It's when I became a hypnotherapist. All along, I'd been doing this self-growth, self-discovery, self-love stuff. I just decided when I was 40, this is it. You and me are going to dance inner critic and self-esteem, and we're going to explore this and, you know, find this inner balance between my masculine and feminine, between my yin and yang, between how I put myself out in the world, how I perceive myself versus how others perceive me. And I just went on this journey to tap into my multisensory, my gifts that I had. You know, I read people energetically, and I just assumed everybody could do that. And I actually do believe everybody can do that. But I think there are actually people that are here on purpose to do that as part of their life work and gift in the world. But there was nothing in my life that showed me to own that, to believe that, to not dismiss it and not use it as a gift. And so slowly, see, even then I had to sort of intellectualize it, become a hypnotherapist, do these things that were okay and validated, you know, in the external world to really understand my wholeness and my abilities, if you will, and my gifts, and to feel comfortable sharing them. And now that I'm 59 and almost going to be 60, it's, again, when you go through that in your 40s and your 50s, you're asking the bigger questions typically. Why am I here? Why do I matter? What is my role? What's my sort of euphemism, my contract to be here, to be in this relationship with my parents, with my siblings, with my partners, with my children? What is our sort of soul contract work together? And just going to that side, which I do appreciate, that I'm of a generation where I'm an independent woman, that I can study those things. Like in the 40s and 50s, you were ostracized and it wasn't a lot available. So it just changed. I would like to say, what it taught me several things. It taught me that there's nowhere to arrive, that I am not going to conquer this, and that's not the goal. The goal is to just every day fall more in love with myself and allow that love to be a vessel that moves through me, to be of service and to be detached from the outcome, so that I no longer really have to, depend on. I went from being an extreme extrovert to being a balanced introvert extrovert, just really trusting and landing in my own body. So I had to reestablish a relationship with my physical body. Many of us experience that at some point in our life. I'm a Gemini, so I have, 2 lives to live and 2 stories to tell, and I could talk about this forever, and I would never answer a question simply, so I'll just stop there.
I was going to say at least 2 lives to live. One of the things I wanted to go back to is this thing about wanting to be a boy and asking for that, until you were 6. And one of the things that was interesting, I wonder how many of us who are in female bodies feel this way, because I was remembering I wanted to be a boy up until, I don't know, somewhere in elementary school, maybe until like puberty, like 10 or something, when bodies started to change. And then I was really all about being a girl. In fact, I just started to really fall in love with being a girl and a woman. And, I remember one point in college, and I was reading Black women writers for the first time. I was like, oh my God, these poor people, meaning the other people in my class, they could never be a Black woman writer. I mean, literally, I was like, wow, They'll never be in that group, but I get to be that. So there was a certain point
Huh.
which I own that femininity, and I just wonder. I guess I just wonder about what is it what is it that we're really reaching for when when we're little girls and we say we want to be boys,
Mm,
you know?
mhm.
Have you thought about it, what you really wanted?
Oh, yeah, yeah, and part of my modalities have just taught me about, and hopefully I get a chance to do a version of a meditation, is that, again, one of the things I learned that was huge was that I have a soul esteem, is what I call it. There's a part of me I left, my soul, wherever, heaven, whatever, up there, and I brought enough to be in this incarnation. And that soul esteem uh, is cosmic. So it doesn't take anything personally. It doesn't take anything personally in this body. So whether I get cancer, I get married, I win the lottery, all of those things are just ways to get to know and learn and love myself. They're not good or bad. It's our ego esteem that labels that good and bad. So as we incarnate and we come through and we're absorbing karmic energy in motion. So capitalism was in motion when I was born and you were born. Colonialism and all its webs and energy was in motion when I was born. So was patriarchy, all the good and bad of that. So as I come into that cosmic field, I like to imagine I'm coming down as a little baby and I come into my mother's womb. I'm absorbing all of those messages and energies about me. And then you get into your physical mother's body. Just as an illustration, I'm now absorbing what's going on in my family and my religion and my community and everything, where my parents, my birth mother's going. And I know for me, I've done a lot of work on this, hypnotherapy and other work. My dad wanted a boy because in the 50s and the 60s, you got to go back to that time and think what was valued. And we objectified men as the caretaker, the father that went out and made the money and was the man and brought it home. And we objectified the female to say, here's your role, you're the homemaker, etc. And my dad also didn't have any brothers, and he wanted a boy. And I was the second of three girls, and I soaked that in. I just soaked that in the womb, and I said, all right, I'm going to be that because I'm a pleaser. I came out as a people pleaser, and I became that. And I had a great childhood. And the funny thing, I used to cut my hair short like this. I just got a haircut. And kids would laugh at me and say, there's a boy in the girls' bathroom. By the way, we started to enter the age of Aquarius and change in the 60s. We just didn't. We cracked it open, but we didn't finish the work. And I realized I was trying to be what every kid wants to be. I want to be loved and accepted by my dad. And I literally became all the things that he wanted in life. He wanted to be an athlete. I was a very successful athlete. He wanted to go to college. He didn't. I went to college. I was very social and very funny. He was funny, but very awkward. And so we do that. As part of our soul contract. If I could, Dr. A, go back and share with people 4 truths that we live, that I hope will help people that are part of this age of expanding what we can actually take in. So there's a universal truth. So that's what's true for you, true for me, true for everybody. The sun rises every day, whether you and I are alive. It's a universal truth. There's lots of universal truths in nature. Then there's relative truth. The sun rises at 7 a.m. your time, which happens to be 5 a.m., my time. So there's relative truth, but it's still out there. And then there's personal truth. Personal truth is I like broccoli, maybe you don't. Right? And then there's soul contract true. What's true for me in my soul contract is not, there's truths for me that I came here. My soul came here to experience something that it never has before. And that's when you move from, so your fate is what I came here to, my fate is the capitalism, the colonialism, and the patriarchy, and the color of my skin, and my economic stat, all of those things I didn't have control over, but I was delivered, and it's in my DNA. Now my destiny to experience all those things, to become who I became to be, and to experience what my soul has never experienced here, is where I'm being pushed. And our
Got you.
personal evolution, right, is being pushed that way. And so when you look at this birthing of a girl or boy, what you wanted to be, you can ask yourself that question. It was part of my soul contract to absorb that and be that, but then I shed that in my later
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. I think for me, it was probably very simple. I think I wanted the freedom of boys in the house I grew up in. There was so much freedom, so much less
Double
restriction.
standards.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
double standards.
So much less restriction and so much respect, you know?
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
yeah, so that's interesting. Thank you for sharing those 4 dimensions, levels of truth. That is really helpful. Sometimes we get in arguments because we're talking about different
Exactly.
aspects of what is true. And they're all true, but they may not all be the same thing. So I
Both
appreciate
and.
that. I wonder if we
Yeah,
could,
both and.
you said you wanted to do an energy exercise with us. So
I did.
yeah, so why don't we go ahead and start that? And if you could just tell us, like, is this something um that we can do? How will this help us, this exercise that you're going to take us through? What will it do for us?
Great, great. So first of all, it will connect you to your body. And your body is nothing but an energy field. Inside, outside, it's just electricity. And it's good to know where your energy, it orbs outside of you. And it's good to know that energy field, when it's contracted, you actually have regulation over that. Nobody talks about that. You may be aware of your energy centers, your chakras that move energy up and down, but we don't often talk about our energy field that's out and about us. And it has everything to do with manifestation and safety and where you want your energy to be. And so I check in with my energy field every morning, and it also grounds me to Mother Earth. I do this along with the meditation. If there's time to do, I'll do that as well. But this is a really quick exercise to just connect with your own energy and move it. So
Okay,
if
before we do
if you
it,
want to, yep, yep. So again, this is to connect with your body and with the earth and your own energy field. Very simple exercise you can do anytime you feel not grounded. So ideally, you want to stand up. You want to stand up, and you want to put your feet, stand straight up, and put your feet about shoulders length apart. And I want you to rock back and forth and rock side to side till you sort of feel centered, like you're like a wee bowls wobble, but you won't fall down. That's dating myself right there. And then put your hands out and try just gently rocking back and forth and side to side, and feel like you are centered in that way, and adjust your feet accordingly. And then I want you to take your fingers and put them below your ear. There's a soft spot right behind your earlobe, on the back, behind your earlobe, that when you put your 2 fingers there and you tilt your head back and forth, you can feel your head rotating on the axis of your neck. And you want to do that slowly and just go back and forth with your fingers there until you feel like your head is exactly on top of your neck. So you're not leaning forward and you're not leaning back. And you want to put your head, right in that stance. Make sure your back is straight. You might want to bend your knees just a little bit so you're not straining. And when you feel like your head is straight like that, you can put your hands out, and you want to put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Putting your tongue on the roof of your mouth actually creates circuit with you and the earth. And so from this posture, I want you to imagine your, roots going down into the ground, down and horizontal into the ground, horizontal and down into the earth. And you can even rock a tiny bit left and right and just feel that centeredness. And with your head in that same position now, and your tongue on the roof of your mouth, just gently put your hands out in front of you, facing outward. And start in from your heart and just move your hand back and forth until you can feel your energy field. You're going to see or sense, some of you might you sense this sort of boundary. Some people like to have their hands facing outwards. Some can have them facing inwards. I'm encouraging you to have your palms facing outwards so you can say where my energy stops and the other energy out there starts. It's very subtle. It might be close to you today. It might be out there. Often when we wake up, it's fairly close to us. We did this first thing in the morning. And I want you to explore that same boundary to your side and even twist around and maybe find it in your back. You can put your hand down below you, behind your back, and feel it, made towards your lower spine. You can even try feeling it above your head. And if you were to do this every day, you would notice your connection to where your energy field is would get stronger. You'd feel it more. And again, you'd feel it coming back and in. And once you begin to identify it, you can actually bring it closer, turning your palms in and bringing it closer, or you could decide, to push it out. It really is like a bubble. Even though it's penetrable. And roughly, often your energy field above your head is around 3 to 4 inches. It's not very high. Your heart can stretch 7 to 8 feet if it's very, very open. Just allowing you to explore that energy field. Some people like to give it a texture or a color that day, and that's how they connect to it as well. And a lovely way that I like to close out this connection, I'll walk you through, is if you want to put your hands up as if you're receiving energy from the cosmos, from the universe. Again, you can bring in think of the moonlight and the starlight. We just had a full moon. Think of that moonlight and coming down into your body. I like to go even higher in the cosmos than that and connect with my soul esteem, the part of me that knows my self-worth is never on the table. Never on the table. I like to feel that coming down into my crown, my head chakra. And then I slowly, this is somewhat like Tai Chi, you can bring that energy down in front of your face. With each hand, and bring it down your body slowly. If you want to fold your hands in front of you and bring it down over your heart, down over your solar plexus, and you can even send it down into Mother Earth and bend over if you're comfortable doing that. And sending anything out of your body that no longer serves you. And as you're down there, gathering up the nutrition, earth energy likes to move up and through us. And when you feel ready, I like to vocalize this myself. As I come back up, I slowly move my hands and I vocalize my voice. I'm bringing it up, and I bring it all the way up over my heart and out, vocalizing it like, ah, putting my voice and my energy out into the world. And if you're in a space by yourself, I encourage you to be as loud, even maybe uncomfortably loud, as we're not often comfortable putting our voice out there. And as an ancient practice, I'm going to do this last exercise with you. If you namaste your hands in front of you, you're going to bow and do a 360 bow. So the first bow, you just bow forward and you say, may all my words, and you come up, may all my words, and take a rotation to the right. And you bow, and all my behaviors, and you bow. Take another rotation to the right. Be of service, and you bow. And you take another gentle rotation to the right. To all beings in all worlds, and you bow. And your last rotation, back to the start. Dropping your hands in an open stance to the world down by your waist, in liberation into the suchness. May all my words and all my behaviors be of service to all beings in all worlds, in liberation into the suchness. And into the suchness is basically saying into the world where we're all connected and we're all valuable. It's an ancient way of saying that. And there's a connection with your energy and a grounding. Thank you for doing that.
Wow. Wow.
How was that?
That was very clearing, actually. Yeah, and I noticed that there's a lot of energy coming out from me in the front of me, as we were feeling it. So for all of our listeners, I'd love to hear what it's like for you. And if you want to, we have one of our Mother Tree community members with us today. So if you want to put anything in the chat, Kirsten, about what that was like for you, that would be awesome. If there's anything you feel like you want to share. Barb, what have people said to you when you've done this with them? What's been the impact of this on people who you've taught it to?
Well, just people connecting to their own energy. It's like there's a way to move it to the ground and bring it in and bring in light. It's like it's it's like they get agency and remembering sovereignty over their own, especially women, their own energy field. And then I've also had many people say, they realize their energy field's out here. And so they know how to bring it in, say, if they're going to go in a situation that no one has earned the right to be in their energy field, they can bring it in.
Oh, I was thinking that when you have your energy field blasting out, it's like you're giving yourself permission to take up space. So, but when you allowed to be that big, then you're embracing people into it. That's the counter side to that.
Correct, right. So it's about you knowing where it is, and how is that serving you and serving others. If you're about to enter in, like, it's really important for empaths to, instead of being a victim of being an empath, to be able to regulate their energy field. You can put shields up, you can do things, or if you want to have a bigger presence, let's say you're really shut down and you're working on opening your heart because you want to be more connected, then you can, sometimes we think we're going into a space very open, but we're still really shut.
Yeah.
So just, you can check on your field and say, all right, you can bring in a protector, an animal, an angel, a guide that helps you discern when you need to shut down, like that you actually are in control and have agency over your energy field is what I get. It's empowering people to realize they do. They're not a victim of it,
Yeah.
if you will.
That's I think that is really powerful for empathetic, porous people like us, me. I know I'm one of them, to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to be conscious of what I'm allowing in. And I think for me, I also feel like there's this desire to press out, to be out, to not shrink. So having
Mm-hmm.
that big outward energy, but maybe it's also with an intention that, only that which serves me can come in. Or sometimes I like to take people into my heart, like people I don't agree with, but I feel like part of
Mm-hmm.
my calling is to actually take them into my heart. So
Yes. Yes.
without it
Thanks for
being,
pointing that.
yeah. You want to say something about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for pointing that out, because it's one of the reasons I combine that. And you could stop finding your energy field. You could stop that exercise before doing the bow. It's one of the reasons I add the bow. It's also telling my nervous system, it puts my intention that basically, let me be of service for the greater good of myself and all.
Hmm.
And some of our soul contracts literally are to bring in a the bodhista of taking on others. But I think that's really real an observation, Dr. A, is that if we're going to cross racial lines and this binary thinking world we're in, we've got to open up and be willing to cut the fence down and energetically be in other spaces. And how do you do that and hold your own sovereignty? That's often why I like to bring in my soul esteem and bring into my energy field, like, my self-worth isn't at stake here. When
Yes.
I go in to talk to somebody, my worth is not on the table here. They may tell me it is,
Yeah.
but I energetically know it's not.
Yeah.
So I can look what's underneath, then.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was something very powerful about when the arms are up being that funnel for that. uh you mentioned moon energy, and then you said you can go even higher. And you said your soul esteem, whatever is higher for you. um yeah, it is. I felt it. I really did feel it, actually. So
I like
thank
to
you.
really, yeah, feel that you are a vessel between
Yes.
heaven and earth.
Yes.
And to feel that energy moving through you, it also, for me, helps me realize that I don't need to know it all.
Yes.
Like you so eloquently say, Dr. A, it's about being. Who am I being?
Yeah.
Then I don't have to focus so much on the doing. It's my presence I bring.
True. Or the words, because the words are only pointers anyway. you know
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, Barb, if people want to know more about you, and we'll have you come back and do a alchemical hypnotherapy with us, because that's another fascinating area. So, if people want to follow you, if they want to learn more about what you do, how can they find you?
Well, thank you so much for being in your energy, and all of you beautiful souls out there. You can find me at allembracingchange.com. So allembracingchange.com, and the many modalities I engage with and dance with, I'd love to hear from you. And you can also find the Divine Dog Wisdom Cat and Cosmic Cat Wisdom decks if you're interested in using wisdom decks at enlightenup.biz. Enlightenup.biz. So yeah.
That's awesome. So let me just ask you, do you have any of your decks nearby right now?
I do.
Which one do you have? Which one is most?
I've got the Divine Dog. Since I know you're a
Yes,
dog person, I'm a dog person.
because
Yes.
I'm a dog person. So would love for you to pick a card with the intention that what is it that folks who are hearing this episode will be of most service to them right now?
All right. So picking among 62 snippets that dogs help humans deal with, I'm asking, yeah, what's on our highest good? And we have, wow. So I don't know if you can see it. It's leading. Let me get rid of my filter there. Let's see. Can you see that right there?
Leading. You want to
I
describe
can't
the
get the
cards for our
camera.
listeners?
Yeah. So you can all imagine this, the Iditarod's happening right now. And so it's a picture of those amazing huskies that run across the tundra, and there's a dog in the front of this pack. And so the word is leading, and the saying underneath is step out in front.
Yes.
And
Women of purpose.
if you
it's
went
your
to
time.
I know. And the equinox is a birthing, a new time to get out there, put your voice out there, your gifts out there. So let's not be afraid to put our energy in the room and go out front and see each other in that space.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Barb. See you next time.
Thanks you, Dr. A. Thanks, everybody.